everyone, it's Lindy and welcome to Serapatome today. So today I am going to continue on making some more starseed videos, and today I'm going to share my experience with you guys of connecting with, it's gonna get weird, a mantis being. Yes, that's right, a mantis being. And this is an ET, and this video is all about mantids, or at least all about what I know about mantids, okay? So, what I have learned from them, and my experience, and what it's been like communicating telepathically and empathically with mantis beings, okay? And they told me they like to be called mantids, but you can refer to them as mantids or mantis beings, whichever you prefer. So when I'm talking about mantis beings, I am talking about an ancient, very old ET race that is much, much older than the human race that is out there in the cosmos, okay? And, you know, this topic, I've heard people discuss it, and the mantids are kind of around if you are a starseed and really connected to, you're like cosmically awakened, okay? ET beings like will start to communicate with you, and I started getting interested in this when I did find out I was a starseed, and it was a whole journey I went on, you know, of self-discovery. And part of my journey and part of my spiritual awakening is waking up to the fact that I have cosmic connections that go very, very deep into the universe, all the way to the mantid race. And I have mantid spirit guides, okay? And, you know, I want to share first with all my viewers that, you know, this is not something I was very comfortable with in the beginning when I first figured out I had mantid spirit guides. I've connected with, it's almost like a collective consciousness of mantid beings. I feel like it's more than one. But then I've also connected with mantids where it is a woman voice, and the mantid seems very feminine. And then I've also had interactions with mantids that seem a lot more masculine to me, okay? So male and female. And then I feel at times that there's also been more than one. And so this, you know, varies. I've had a lot of different interactions with them. And when I say this, I mean it is very similar to how I connected with the inner earth being. And that's what my last video was on, was an inner earth being and connecting with them. So when I say I'm connecting with them, it's very similar to mediumship, where they just, of course I get into a deep state of meditation, okay, and I clear my mind, and I really try to focus on clearing my mind, calming my body, you know, and really getting in a state, almost like a trance state, okay, where my mind is completely blank, and I focus on, you know, opening up my heart and my heart chakra, and I'm really focusing on opening up my third eye as well. And I have connected with several beings this way. More advanced, spiritually advanced beings or consciously advanced beings that are easily capable of communicating with people telepathically, and it's also an empathic connection. So I'm feeling their energy while at the same time picking up, you know, words, symbols, having a conversation with them. But when you're communicating telepathically with another being out there, it's a lot different than having a conversation, you know, face to face with someone where you're actually talking to them. It's a lot different than that. So a big, huge part of this kind of work that I've been doing lately, a big part of it is you really have to learn that what comes forward, anything that you're picking up and you're receiving is, you know, you have to be able to realize that it's real, okay? And it's not in your imagination, and you're not making these things up in your head. And once you put trust in that and just surrender to whatever information is coming forward, and you're open and willing to receive the information, then it just will start like flooding in. And so, like anything else, this is something that takes practice, but I believe that anyone that is interested in doing this type of stuff can do it. It just really takes practice. And I went through a whole process of a few years ago, really having a spiritual awakening and really going through a lot of spiritual development. And of course, keeping an open mind. But I have practiced this quite a bit, okay? And really looked at my limiting beliefs that may have been holding me back and things like this. So at this point, the information just floods in, and it's actually fairly easy for me to connect with other beings out there that you wouldn't be able to connect to otherwise. So it's like you're connecting to them spiritually. And but okay, so let's get into mantids, okay? I just wanted to explain a little bit of my process and, you know, let you guys know that I don't think I'm special in any way. I just have been really interested in this, and so I've spent a lot of time really developing my intuition and this aspect of my spirituality. All right, so mantids. Now, this is like a really strange topic, and it was always kind of weird for me, and it took a while. Actually, Mantis beings have been trying to communicate with me basically since I started meditating and really getting into this process of doing soul searching and trying to find out maybe some of my past lives, or gosh, I've got a lot of my questions answered on my soul, and a lot of spirit guides have come forward for me and things like this. Well, in that journey, Mantis beings had been trying to communicate with me. So it's like I would get this really strong image of this like insect face, you know, but it was like a conscious insect, like a mantis man type being, you know. I don't know how to explain it, but like it would just always come up in my consciousness when I was in a meditation. And it really freaked me out at first. It really freaked me out. It kind of scared me. I didn't know what that was all about. I didn't want to communicate. I had no interest in communicating with these beings at all, okay? And so then for a while, you know, they went away, and I didn't really see anything like that in my meditations. And then I watched a video on YouTube, a video by Gigi Young, who is also into very similar things. She talks a lot about fringe spirituality and similar topics that I talk about. But she made a video on mantids, and I watched that, and I thought, okay, maybe these guys like aren't as weird or as freaky as I think they are. Like maybe I should give them a chance, and maybe I should really try to communicate with a mantid being. And so when I was a lot more open and willing, and I had gotten rid of the fear that I had about connecting with Mantid beings, that's really when I had my first in-depth meeting with a spirit guide that was a Mantid, okay? And it was like this whole process, because at that time in my spirituality, I had only connected with one spirit guide, okay? One spirit guide had started to come forward for me quite a bit in my meditations, and she was human, and she was very angelic looking, and just very beautiful, and I would go on like little journeys and stuff like that with her. So she was in this meditation, and I, set an intention that I did want to meet with a Mantid being, but I feel that the Mantids and also my other spirit guides, they're aware that I just was kind of weirded out about it, and I didn't know what to expect. And, it's important not to have expectations when you're going into something like this, because that can really get disappointing. And it's just really important to keep an open mind. So in my meditation, I was visualizing that me and my spirit guide were walking through this field, and then we walked up to these steps, and the steps led up into a spaceship, okay? And on the spaceship, I saw this symbol that I have seen a lot in my meditations. And I saw this symbol also on a documentary I watched about East Ranch, okay? But this is the symbol, okay? So, it's a triangle, and then at every point, it's got a circle. And I recently found out that this is the symbol, it's the universal symbol for ET contact. Now, don't quote me on that. That's just what I've picked up through my intuition and in my meditations. But, yeah, I think that that's what that symbol represents. I really am starting to believe that. So this symbol was on the spaceship, and I saw that symbol before, but my spirit guide, my human spirit guide, told me that everything was okay, and if I didn't want to continue with this, then she would be right here, and I could, leave this at any time. So I decided to continue. I walked up the stairs into the spaceship, and then in the spaceship, there were like a couple of chairs, and there was a being sitting in one of the chairs, and he was cloaked, and he was wearing a brown hooded robe, okay? And all I could really see at first was like his little, they're not fingers or hands, they look like praying mantis, those insects that are on Earth, okay? They look like that, but they also, once you get to know them, you really I've started to get comfortable with their appearance. Yes, they do look like insects, but it's in this, this really nice way. Like, they're more consciously evolved. So it's like you're talking to an insect, but you're not really, because they're so much more evolved than insects are. Okay? So I saw his little thing, I don't know what they're called. Here, I drew a picture. So, see, they have like little appendages like this instead of hands or fingers. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a drawing I drew of my encounter with my spirit guide, who is a mantid or a mantis being. And maybe when I color this in and it looks really awesome, I can put it back in this video, because I would really like to put a picture up, or maybe make this like the cover photo of this video or whatever. But I'm also not like super into editing my YouTube videos. Just because it's really important that I get the message out there, and it takes forever to edit in YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, but that is a picture I drew of a mantid being, and this is inspired with my interactions I've had with mantids as spirit guides. So anyway, back to this experience. I sat next to this mantid being, and I could kind of see his face, but his face was really covered up with a hood. And see, I think they are aware that their appearance really freaks humans out. And so they cloak themselves or kind of like disguise themselves at times. At least he did in his first encounter when I first met him. And I've seen them in hoods since then as well. Okay. Cloaks with hoods. So I sat next to him in the spaceship, and he took me on a journey through the universe. And it was really fun, and he showed me parts of the universe that were very populated. There was a lot of trade and interaction going on between all different ET races from all different planets. This was a part in the galaxy, in the Milky Way galaxy. This was a part of the galaxy that was very populated and really going and really busy. And so there were several planets, and there were people going back and forth between all these planets and exchanging and bartering and doing business with each other and interacting. And it was very much like a Star Wars or something type of environment. Okay, but this was on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy. And the important thing about that my spirit guide, this mantid being, was showing me is that he told me that humanity on Earth has the potential to kind of merge in with this part of the galaxy, okay? And we could become, in the future, very integrated with the rest of the ETs in our galaxy, okay? And I asked him if, I said, you know, like, I don't know if I asked him, I think he just told me, actually. This was a while ago when I first started having interactions with these beings. So I'm thinking back, and he just told me that that was part of the reason that I incarnated on Earth as a human. Because part of the reason is so that I could kind of wake our consciousness up, the collective conscious up, to the fact that we are connected to the cosmos, and we are connected to a lot of other ET races out there in the universe, okay? I think it goes beyond our galaxy. And so that was part of my mission, but also part of my mission is to just try and bring more light and raise the vibration of the planet in general, okay? Because of course that's going to assist us. If we raise our consciousness and we, you know, move into this new consciousness, then we will be able to handle actual contact with ETs, okay? And so they're trying to get us there. And the mantids are. And then also in this video is getting kind of long, I know. But I just feel like there's so much information to share on these beings. So in my last interaction with the mantids, my guide was teaching me that at least this mantid said that there are a lot of mantids that are really involved with working with DNA, okay? DNA. And he was explaining to me, or attempting to explain. Now, see, here's the thing, too, with my interactions with these beings, is they are very highly consciously evolved, okay? So this being is a 6th density being, okay? And so they have such a higher perspective of everything, okay? And he was trying to explain to me that mantids are really good for working with DNA, and they work with the spiritual aspect of DNA. And he was explaining to me that the reason our scientists down here, or most people on Earth, don't understand the full spectrum of our DNA is because they do not take the spiritual aspect of DNA into account. They just take the physical aspect. And he was explaining that there is an entire spiritual aspect that is like in between the physical matter of the DNA that has to be taken into account. And that's why sometimes scientists, our DNA is such a mystery, because they don't take that into account, because our science is quite not there yet. You know, at this point they call that junk DNA basically, but it's not junk, okay? There are sacred, such important little jewels in there about our history and our lineage, okay? And then this being, this mantis, also told me that we do in fact have several ET races in our DNA. And he told me 7 different ET races that our DNA has in there. And let me think here, because this is such like over my head information that I get from this guide. He is so filled with wisdom, and it's really hard for my like 3rd, 4th density consciousness to comprehend. You know, I asked him, I said, well, if we have this ET DNA in us, and I'll just list off some of them, he told me I have mantid DNA. It's in my DNA. That's why I have mantid spirit guides. And that's why I see them so much in my spiritual little journeys I go on, is because I have mantid DNA. And I said, well, if I have mantid DNA, then why do I look so human? Like, why do I look the way I look? And he said, well, most humans have all kinds of ET DNA. And the reason that you look the way you look is because it's the best vessel for this time and space. Like, that's how he answers my questions, like, you know, he just said it's the best vessel for you in this time and space. And the reason you guys don't know you have ET DNA is because you don't take the spiritual aspect of it into account. So, yeah, blowing your mind, right? I know, it's crazy. So, what else? Well, I've also seen in their perspective, like, what things look like, and it's, they see a lot of sacred geometry, and they see how the energy runs through things, and they see, like, in patterns and colors, and that's the way they see. So it's very different than the way we see and we perceive our reality. They perceive their reality in a different light. They also can be very funny and have really made me laugh at times. I have a mantid female spirit guide who is it just makes me laugh seeing like an insect with her legs crossed and her little like hand things, appendages, you know, like this, and their legs are crossed, and she's got this really soft female voice. And so it's funny. So they can be really comical. But also, a very important aspect of mantids that I want to explain before I let you guys go is that the reason it can feel like the connection can feel very weird with a mantid, like you don't feel a deep energy signature from them. And the reason for that, I finally have discovered, is because human beings, we have a very deep energy body, okay? Our energy body or our emotional body is very deep. So we feel feelings very, very deeply. And mantids, on the other hand, have a very shallow energy body or emotional body, okay? And so they can kind of feel a little cold, like similar to how reptilians can feel. They can feel very cold, their energy can, and just really shallow. So sometimes feeling their energy isn't the best confirmation that you have a connection, because always to me, their energy, since maybe this is because I'm an empath, but it will start to numb out my body. So my like sensories, my nerve, like my body will start to feel numb when I am communicating with a mantis. And it's kind of cold, but it's not bad. It's not bad or malevolent. It's just different from our energy. And so it can feel very bizarre at first, and it takes some getting used to. And so then I will just go off more of my telepathic and clairvoyant type things I'm picking up more so than the energy, because the energy is like not really deep. So that is my video about mantids, and it's getting long. So I'm going to let you guys go for now. But let me know what you think about this video. And if you have any further questions on mantids, I might be able to answer them for you. I can't make any promises, but I have interacted with these beings quite a bit, and I'm starting to get to know their energy and get to know just, you know, who they are as beings. And they're a very positive race, an ancient race, very wise, and really, you know, have a lot to do with aspects of our society that is like behind the scenes and things like this. So they are involved with humans, but in a very behind the scenes type of way. But some of us have mantids for spirit guides. And so also, if you have a mantid spirit guide, like, please comment and let me know, because I love talking to people about the mantids and their energy and what we've learned from them. And share this video with anyone that would be interested. Of course, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. And have a blessed day. May the force be with you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.